What is up, everybody? Back with a concert review here today, and this one is going to be about the W.A.S.P show I went to a couple of days ago in Atlanta, Georgia, November 25th, so just about 3 days ago now. It was at the Buckhead Theatre. Going to talk about the venue, the set list, how the band sounded, how Blackie sounded. It was their backing tracks, backing tapes, vocal tapes. I'll tell you what I think about all that. But before I get into it, I got to show the shirt, which I just dropped. It is the really cool one. Blackie's been wearing it. It's the 40-year anniversary. Amazing design there on the front, but there's a special detail on the back that I got to show off. It is Blackie's signature, the man himself. I got him to sign it, and how that happened was me and about 30 other people stuck around after the show. I suppose you could pay for the VIP, but it's not much into my budget at this moment. I guess I could afford it, but I don't feel like spending $350. From what I understand, though, the VIP, if you want to spend the money, that's not terribly expensive compared to some bands. And you get a pretty good deal out of it. You get to talk to Blackie, ask him some questions, get some other stuff signed, a picture with a mic stand. So if you got the opportunity and you can afford it, I'd recommend to do the VIP. But if you want to stay after, as I did, it takes about 2 hours for him to come outside. So it was about 1 a.m. and he comes walking up, and we had to be on like either side of this barricade that the people from the venue set up, so the band would have a walkway to their bus without getting mobbed. But I'm like right on the corner by this little alley that he's coming up, towards the bus. So I'm the first person he sees. I'm like, "Hey, Blackie, great show, you rule," or something like that. And he looked towards me and he nodded, and that was pretty much the only acknowledgement he gave to anybody standing around right there. And he walked straight up onto the bus, and we're like, what the heck? What the hell? But he stood at the top of the steps, and a crew member, grabbed our item, handed it up to him, and he signed something for everybody that wanted it signed. So that was really cool of him. He doesn't have to take that extra time to do it, but he did, and that was nice. So I appreciate it, Blackie, if you're watching. But as far as the venue, I've been to this place. It's probably like my 4th time now. I saw Overkill there with X-Hoarder, Tom Kiefer with LA Guns and Faster Pussycat, and I also saw Abbott and Obituary there a couple of years back. And this one, the W.A.S.P show, is the only one that I recall being completely sold out, and that's about 2,000 people. So kudos to W.A.S.P, impressive to sell it out. From what I understand, most of their shows on this tour have been sold out, so if that tells the band anything, don't wait 10 years again before your next U.S. tour, because people want to see you. I'll definitely be back. If they came back, in 6 months, I would be there. So hopefully they come back sooner than 10 years, and, I'm glad to have finally crossed them off the bucket list of bands to see, because they're in my top 5 of all time. Extremely happy to have seen them. Now, the opening band, it was Armored Saint. Cool to have them opening. I'm a pretty big fan of them as well. They came up right around the same time in LA as well, so these guys have known each other for a long time. They, killed it. They played for about 45, 50 minutes, 8 or 10 songs, whatever it is. John Bush on the vocals still sounds great. Their guitar players were fantastic. Some really cool harmonizing, just epic, melodies and riffs and solos. So they got the crowd, amped up, ready to go. And then after they left, of course, they start switching all the stuff, the backing, props, and they got skulls and shit everywhere. They brought out the big mic stand, which has been criticized. There was a pretty cool backdrop, the kind of circusy theme or whatever. But the big mic stand for Blackie, it's got a big skull and crossbones. It kind of blocks and obstructs your view of him a little bit. Is it my favorite thing ever? No. It does look kind of cool, yeah. But, if I was going to pick, I'd say to just use a normal mic stand so we can see you better. But, hey, part of the show, I guess. And it didn't bother me terribly. As far as the set list goes and the whole backing track stuff, Blackie was asked about this like literally a day or two ago now. There's a video up on YouTube I can link for his exact answer. But, I thought he answered the question pretty well. He was straightforward with it. He's not trying to lie or anything, so I respect that. He said basically when they're in the studio, they use, for the choruses and backing vocals, like extra layering and stuff. And, he wants the live show to sound as good as possible. And, he wants to sound as close to the record as they can when they're playing live, which, I understand what he's saying. Personally, it didn't turn me off to where I'm like, fuck this shit. Like, I'm out of here and I'm not going to be crying about it or anything. But, I would say probably to back off on that a little bit. not use them quite as much. You know, I'm sure people know many bands do use them here and there. For the most part, other than the opening like montage of 4 songs, they played all together like partially. So they basically played like a minute and a half from 4 songs all rolled into one to open up the set. And that was On Your Knees, The Flame, The Torture Never Stops, and Inside the Electric Circus. That to me seemed more like, for the lead vocals, there was some tapes there, Blackie singing along with it, of course, but to me that seemed a little bit more like tapes. I could be wrong, I don't know. But then after that, Love Machine and Wild Child were the next 2 songs, and those seemed pretty much completely authentic and real vocals, almost completely. Like maybe in the choruses a little bit, there was some echoing and stuff going on that was tapes or whatever, but who gives a shit? His voice still sounds really good. You can definitely tell that he is singing a good chunk of this material, like actually him. He's singing it right then and there, and he still sounds quite good, especially for being 66 years old. He's still got a lot of energy, which is really cool. The whole band around behind him is friggin' on fire and great musicians. Doug Blair on lead guitar is fantastic. Mike Duda on the bass has been in the band for over 25 years now, and the drummer, Achilles, I'm going to butcher the shit out of his name, but he's a great drummer. He's been in the band for about 5 years now, so he killed it as well. But, yeah, Love Machine was great, and I meant to show some of these. Got the debut on vinyl, fantastic. Love Machine, they played a lot of stuff from this, and then they played Wild Child, which that is in my top 10 songs ever. Very happy to have heard it. Of course, Blackie's the only guy still in the band from back in the day. But, you know, you got the guys here, Steve Riley. Tony Richards was on that first album with Steve Riley, Piper, and Holmes. You know, great performance of Wild Child. Really loved it. Just majestic song. Everybody was singing along. Just very cool. And then they went into 3 songs in a row from the Crimson Idol, which The Idol, The Great Misconceptions of Me, and Chainsaw Charlie. Got a pretty cool cassette tape of it right here. You know, the set list has changed a bit. They've dropped a couple of songs that they were playing earlier, you know, on the tour. They were playing Hellion from the first album. Don't know why they dropped it. Heaven's Hung in Black I saw on some of the earlier set lists. A song called Crazy, which isn't amazing or anything, so I don't mind that one being dropped. But, you know, I don't know why they dropped Hellion. I really would have liked to have seen that one. That's one of my favorite tracks by them. Definitely one of their best songs. But after those 3 from the Crimson Idol, they rolled into Blind in Texas, another one from The Last Command. Fantastic song. And I will say, as all of these songs are going, the ones that have music videos, they got it on the big screens behind them, which just is awesome. Love their music videos. Blind in Texas might be my favorite one. You know, the Love Machine video is a classic, so is Wild Child. So very cool to have that up there on display as they're going through the songs. And then, of course, after Blind in Texas, they're like, all right, see ya, thank you, good night. Of course, it's never the end. They come back out for the encore, and it is, of course, Animal, Fuck Like a Beast. Got a super cool single of it on vinyl right here. You know, this was originally supposed to be on that debut album. It got taken off because of the whole PMRC censorship stuff that was going on, and that's kind of how they introed them coming back out from the, like they left the stage, and then up on the screen, they started talking about the whole situation, putting some words up on the screen, whatever. Then they come running out, play the song, very heavy one. It's one of their heavier songs of all time. Great riff, just super cool to see that one live. For a while there, Blackie wouldn't play it because he's a born-again Christian, and you know, he didn't want to play it due to the lyrical themes, but he said he thinks he made his point. You know, he didn't play it for 10 or 15 years, and now it's back to pretty much being a staple in the set. And then after that, they played The Real Me by The Who, which, you know, I could do without that. They cover it on The Headless Children, I believe. You know, I would much rather have seen Hellion or Restless Gypsy from Inside the Electric Circus is one of my top, you know, 5 W.A.S.P songs of all time that I wish that they would have broken out for this tour. But, yeah, it's not a terrible cover, just there's a lot of stuff I think they could have played that I would have enjoyed more, and they closed it out with I Want to Be Somebody from the first album, one of their most popular songs. You know, the crowd loved it, everybody went crazy, was singing along with it. And then towards the end of the track, they had a nice little montage flashing behind of pictures of pretty much everybody that had played on a studio album for W.A.S.P. They had, Tony Richards, they had Daryl freaking Roberts, they had Chris Holmes up there. They had everybody pretty much. It's nice to see Chris Holmes getting up there on the screen, especially, since Blackie and him have had, not the best relationship recently. Everybody knows they've got some shit going on or whatever. They have had it in the past, so they're not too fond of each other. But nice of W.A.S.P and Blackie to acknowledge that all these people were big factors in the band at some point, helped contribute to their history, and they put them on the screen back there to kind of celebrate. It's the 40th anniversary, celebration of their history. So that was nice to see. Blackie even got up on the mic stand at the end, leaned out over the crowd, did all that, and that's cool to see as well. He's 66 years old, and, he's in better shape now than he was about 5-10 years ago. He wasn't looking too great there for a while, but he's lost some weight, looks leaner and thinner, in better shape, so that's good to see. He looks healthier. But yeah, overall, this was a really, really great show. 9 out of 10. I would definitely go again if they come back to my area. As far as the whole backing tape and track thing goes, the way Blackie explained it, I think, was a really good answer. I'll put that in the, comment or in my description down there below. That, it helps, he wants to help enhance the show with the backing vocals and the choruses. That's how they kind of do it in the studio. It's hard for them to replicate that without the help from the stuff, is basically what he's saying. There is some of his lead vocals here and there, I think, that were tapes as well, which I don't love, but he did sing a ton of it, real, live, there, right then, singing for real. So to say that it's completely lip-synced is just straight up a lie, because it's not. He still sounds really good when he is singing, and I really enjoyed this. So I'll be back again if I get the chance. So let me know in the comments, what y'all think about the show. Have you seen it yet? Are you going to see it? What'd you think about the mic stand? Let me know all that in the comments. And I really appreciate, again, everybody that came up to me. I can't remember if I said this or not yet, but I had like 6 people come up to me and say they like the channel. Big thanks to all of you, and as usual, you guys, let me know all that stuff in the comments, and until next time, thank y'all for watching.